Oh, sorry. Hey, good morning. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with day 29 of the Thrive Challenge. Today's challenge is all about movement and health because our health it's got to be our number one priority. If you aren't taking care of yourself, if you aren't eating right, getting enough sleep, moving, and getting some form of exercise, and I know exercise is a four-letter word for a lot of people. Diet is a four-letter word for me. I don't believe in diets anymore, and I spent decades going on every fad diet that is imaginable on the planet. And all that did was get me fat, sick, and tired. So that didn't work out very well for me. But I also didn't take very good care of myself. So in addition to the yo-yo dieting, the workaholicness, and the super duper incredible amounts of stress I created in my life, I ended up having a sudden cardiac arrest and dropping dead. When I came out of the coma from that experience, I started to do a little investigating and discovered that if I didn't immediately change my lifestyle, change my habits, change the not taking care of myself at all and just getting by to absolutely positively making my health and wellness my number one priority, I wasn't going to be here in 3 years, much less 6, much less longer than that. I wasn't going to be on the planet for my family, for my kids. I would never become a grandma. Well, I would have been dead, so I wouldn't have been a grandma. So it became really, really important for me to take health from being on the bottom of my values list and self-care to moving it up to the top of my values list. And now I exercise every day. Even if I'm having a bad pain day, I do something to move and get my body going. Since my sudden cardiac arrest, I've missed less than a handful of days of exercise. I always find a way to do something. And what I consider exercise is probably very different from what other people consider exercise. I'm not going to the gym and working out and working up this big sweat. Exercise for me might be yoga with my daughter one day, or it might be riding my exercise bike, or it might be, most often, if the weather's permitting, I like to get outside in nature and clear my head, think, just be in nature and go for a walk. So walking is actually my exercise of choice. I did try running once, but it set my internal cardiac device off, and I don't want that to ever happen again. They turned it up for me, but I'm still nervous about it, so I won't run unless there's a bear chasing me. But each of us has to decide what that looks like for us. What can we incorporate into our lifestyle that is effortless and seamless? Little things like deciding to walk up the flight of stairs instead of taking the elevator. I do this trick, and I shouldn't probably share it, but when I was in cardiac rehab, they had me on a medication that made my blood pressure super duper low, and they were always afraid I was going to pass out. So when my blood pressure was kind of low, I would sneak in the bathroom and I would do like leg lifts, and that would get my blood pressure up enough so that it wouldn't trigger them sending me to the hospital. So that became a habit for me, and actually it had been a habit I developed a long time ago. I used to do deep knee bends whenever I was microwaving my coffee, or when I was getting ready or doing something in the kitchen, I would do deep knee bends. So I just added little things to my lifestyle, my daily routines, so that I was getting exercise and I was getting movement into my life without having to, spend 3 hours like I did in my 20s going to the gym. When I had my first job and was young and single, I belonged to a health club, and I could spend, the 3 hours going to the gym. I could ride the exercise bikes or use the equipment there, do a workout, and get cleaned up, and it didn't matter because I didn't have a whole lot of other priorities or things that I was responsible for doing. Well, once I had kids, when I got married and had kids, that flew out the window because that wasn't an option. So taking care of myself, physical activity, exercise, even eating right, just went to the bottom of my priority list, and I paid dearly for it. But I've also learned. So the other part of the challenge today is not only exercise, but cut out sugar for 24 hours. I actually just started a keto type diet because I like diets, and at my last cardiac checkup I gained a little bit of weight and I want to take that off. So I have been hearing all these cool things about keto, and although I've been eating for my blood type for about 7 months now, that doesn't help me lose weight. It just alleviates the pain that I experience, which is awesome, don't get me wrong. I don't like pain, but I think I need to incorporate some of the keto things into my blood type diet so that I can try to lose some weight, because I want to get the weight down, especially with summer coming up. Everybody wants to get the weight down, right? At least we women usually do. That was such a sexist remark, and I don't even care. Actually, my brother-in-law is dieting more than anyone I ever know right now, and he's a guy. But, so some of the things I do that are really good tricks. First thing in the morning, I have a big bottle of water, and I just reuse this Bai antioxidant bottle, and I put water and I put lemon juice in it. I either squeeze a lemon or I buy real lemon juice from Sam's Club because I can get it in a big quantity, and I drink a glass of, or about 20 ounces of lemon water every morning. I also am boiling some eggs, and eggs aren't really in my blood type diet, but they're really a good source of protein. They're low fat. They don't have any sugar in them, and I can feel good about eating them. So, and since I'm doing this keto thing, my whole point was, since I'm doing the keto thing, I haven't eaten sugar for about, I think, 3 days now. Although I did have a Starbucks coffee yesterday, so that probably had sugar in it, at least in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, so that's your challenge today. The challenge is find some way to move, number one, and number two, give up sugar for the next 24 hours. Now, if it's your birthday and they've got birthday cake and a birthday party for you, eat sugar today and give it up for 24 hours tomorrow. But as soon as possible, and today is always the best time to do anything, go 24 hours without sugar and see how it makes you feel. Now, I will tell you, with sugar, it usually takes me about 2 weeks of not having any sugar. And I read labels and I look at things, and I mean, I can have fruit and things, but I mean no processed sugar. And that means no processed sugar-like ingredients in foods. So it takes me about 2 weeks to stop like craving sugar. And then when I eat something with sugar, it tastes horrible because it's like sickeningly sweet. Same thing is true of sodium. I had to give up sodium as part of my cardiac rehab stuff. So for years, all I've watched and read on labels is how much sodium's in it. And if there's a bunch of sodium in it, I'm not buying it. But the same is true of sugar. It's amazing how much sodium and sugar is in foods that we don't suspect it's in. So keep an eye on that. Today, no sugar, and move. Do something to move. Comment below what you did to move, and then tomorrow share under that video what it felt like to go a day without sugar. I am really curious how it impacts you versus how it impacts me. Well, make it an awesome day. Thrive on, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Last day, day 30 of our Thrive Challenge.